Hey, it's Brad Parker, Crystal Palace fan, and you are listening to the Drunkard United Football Show. It's a parade.
Red for dissent.
I was saying,
Red card.
Parade is not the word I would use for that match.
Get out. Yeah.
Funny that we're going to talk about rivalry versus derby in the first segment, and it's that match was actually worth something, unlike the other thing.
Oh, big time.
Let's start the show.
Unlike the other
In the
thing.
land of Bowie, Maryland, bred to be a fan of fucking Everton. Punch you in the eye and drink your rye. Sam Houston.
Sam Houston?
Arsenal fans have another Sam. AKA the fucking Gooner Graham. Stump of a lord. Look straight in shorts. Sam Grammy.
Sam Graham.
Fucking United! Fucking United!
Hello and welcome to the DU Football Show, a completely biased recap of the English Premier League as told by two common American schmucks.
That's us.
I'm your host, Sam Houston, and across the way from me, getting himself involved in the community
Come on.
and still saying dumbass shit,
Yeah.
my co-host, Mr.
Would you
Samuel Graham.
expect anything else?
How you doing, good sir?
Doing very well, thank you. Still have a job.
Yeah? Hey.
So he either didn't remember my name or didn't take offense to it. It's perfect.
That's what we like to
What
hear.
a perfect caper.
And, of course, on the ones and twos, we have the lovely producer, Mel, who's fading out right now and won't have an opportunity to go over and hear her mic yet. See, because I'm an observant husband and a good partner.
Well, I'm just looking at the clock going, how did I let Soundcheck get away with being almost an hour
Because
long?
we talked about all that food and it was so good
That
and I
is
came
either
twice.
really good producing or really bad producing.
excellent.
I haven't decided yet.
It was excellent.
Yeah, we were on a roll. You really
Sure, Billy
stop
can't
us.
sleep anyway, so he's still here.
Yeah, he's working.
Taylor's an hour behind. It's fine.
Yeah, we'll be
We're all
right.
good. It's no problem.
We're recording at the DU Public House just outside the nation's capital. You can check us out wherever you get your podcasts. And, of course, streaming live every single Monday night. Should you want to chat with us, there is many ways that you can. Mr. Graham, tell the good people how they can get in touch.
Of course, it's very easy. It's at DU Football Show on all the social medias, which is where everyone's watching the live right now, including the YouTubes, the Twitches, the
Kick. Yeah.
We're not doing live on Twitter anymore.
And not doing live on TikTok because
We're
we
banned.
got potty mouths. 'Cause I'm
Something's
sure we
wrong.
said
You
something
know what's
ignorant.
funny is it might have been my cigarette in the video of the bet.
Ah, that
Remember
could
they
have been
banned tobacco before.
I think it was.
I just went like this, and you only saw the end of it. Mm-hmm. But that's what it was. Mm-hmm. Now I told you, I saw somebody on Jack Mate's Happy Hour that one of the shows. It's a YouTube.
Yeah.
Anyway, TikTok had banned one of his clips because he was chewing on a pen, and the algorithm thought it was a cigarette.
Yep, of course.
Yeah, one of his guests. Anyway, doesn't matter. Not the point. But yeah, so anywhere at DU Football Show on all the social medias and dufootballshow@gmail.com to get in touch via email.
And don't forget, we're looking for some reviews if you hadn't done a review in a while or if you've never done a review before. Spotify, give it a like or, give it a 5
Apple
star.
Pods,
Yep, Apple Pods, all of that. Or
Click that automatic download button.
Or go check out FeedSpot, who recently rated us the number 9 football podcast, Premier League football podcast. So
That's right.
And the number 65 English podcast when we're not actually English, but we're not here to judge. We're not here to judge.
It's because Graham's accent changes and confuses them.
Yeah, it's true. Well, that's kind of
That would mean they had to jump in halfway through the show when I was a bit toasty.
English, Scottish, Irish kind of amalgamation of language. It's just
Well, it depends. It depends what mood I'm in. It's funny.
Don't forget
is
Dutch.
Yeah, that's true.
There, I saw a Scottish
literal
comedian.
people.
I saw a brief clip of a Scottish comedian over the weekend. It said, it's really hard to do comedy in a Scottish accent because it doesn't lend itself to smiling.
Right.
Said the American accent, and he's doing like a real, stylized, obviously. And he was like, you can't help but smile when you're doing an American accent,
Right.
And then he was like, even the English, if you're a bit posh, sometimes you have a chuckle and you do this. He goes, but if you ever tried to smile in a Scottish accent, At the end of it, you're going to get stabbed. He said the words and the facial expression don't fucking match. So it's not good. It's funny.
Sam, myself, who work in the wine and spirit industry, and both have a deep, passionate love for all things distilled spirits. So, as the red-blooded Americans we are, we've had to have a drink at our hand throughout this show and every single show. Mr. Graham, we are on to number 4 on Whisky Advocates, top 20 whiskeys of 2024. What are we drinking tonight?
This is the Bardstown Bourbon Company collaborative series with Amrut, which is an Indian single malt. This is 110 proof, 55% by volume if you're counting at home. Should run you about 160. All the Bardstown stuff is quite expensive. Usually findable, though, which is good, but you're going to pay for it.
You can find this. You will find this, and it's not normally well over market price. It's just they're expensive whiskeys as a whole.
Yeah. The panel rated it a 94. This is a blended American bourbon. Excuse me. John, it is still a bourbon, right?
Yes, it is.
No, straight rye.
Oh, this is rye. I'm sorry.
This is rye.
Okay.
Finished in Amrut Indian malt whiskey barrels, blended with bourbon. So it's a burr rye, basically. All right. Anyway, Johnny McCormick gives you your Whiskey Advocate blurb, and he says about this whiskey: take 2 straight rye whiskeys from Indiana, one an 8-year-old, 95% rye, and the other a 9-year-old, 51% rye, and finish them for 18 months in Amrut Indian single malt casks. I sold Amrut for about I don't know, a year and a half. They make some good whiskeys in Amrut.
Amrut a few years back was on Whisky Advocates top 20 with their Cabernet finish.
That was Asavada, I think it was.
Fucking stellar.
Was it Asavada or Asavada or something like that? Yeah. Avasada? Something.
It was fucking stellar.
Delicious. Blend this with 3 Kentucky straight bourbons aged 10 to 14 years, and you have a vibrant blend of American whiskeys with aromas of roasted corn, nutmeg, allspice, and toasted oak with chocolate chip, root beer, leather, and black cherry bubblegum. Sugared almonds, red berries, baking spices, ground pepper, and cinnamon segu into fruit tea. Red vines and herbal notes with a mouth-filling finish of milk chocolate, malt, and oak char. There is a lot going on. I was actually quite disappointed by having it neat.
Okay.
And I don't know if you were.
I've had it before, and I thought it was pretty good.
Well, in terms of what I thought it was going to be, I was disappointed. It has since, with the Ice Cube and one too many longer stories during soundcheck, has opened up tremendously. And now I'm getting a lot more of that flavor profile the very extensive flavor profile that he mentioned there. There are a lot of notes of chocolate. There is a lot of allspice. There is a lot of those Indian influences in this whiskey. Still get a little bit of the rye spiciness. Still get a little bit of the bourbon sweetness. It's fucking good, but it to me at least needs a little bit of water.
So disclosure is typically a lot of these whiskeys we are drinking cold, right? We've never had them before. We purposely do not open the bottle. The bottle gets,
and I've not had this either.
Right. The bottle gets opened when Sam walks into the studio. The bottle's open. We pour the glasses, and that is the first time it is typically liquid to lips. Obviously, there are some instances where it's stuff we've sold.
Something I sell, right? I always taste on my accounts so I can guide them in their
Westward Cast Strength.
Stuff.
I sold, I worked for the fucking brand.
Right.
I've had it. I had it. But this is one I had actually had earlier this year.
Before the list came out, obviously.
I'm very close with multiple people who work with Bardstown specifically. So just got a lot of friends that are with the brand. And when particularly one, Nick, was having me try it, he was just right off the jump. He was like, this is making the fucking list. It was like when he was like, you need to try this.
Yeah.
This is making the list. And I tried it, and I was like,
I get like a nice toffee on it as well.
I'm like, yeah, this is definitely making the list. And to see that it's top 5, I'm not surprised at all. Not surprised one bit.
Again, once I got the water to it, it opened up so much for me. It allowed those flavors to stand out beyond the proof. And it, when I had it neat, Now, obviously, I only had, an ounce. Maybe my second glass, my palate would have climatized and I would have been able to pick some more things out. But initially, I didn't get a lot from it. Mm-hmm. It just tasted like a well-done whiskey.
Right.
There wasn't much to it. Mm-hmm. It was a little hot at 110, but nothing outrageous. Fine. Yeah. But you get that little bit of water to it. And I can taste everything. It's dry over the mid palate.
Agree, by the way, I think ice really opened this up quite a bit.
It's dry over the mid palate. You get that nice sweet chocolate up front and caramel from the bourbon. You get a good spiciness on the back end. I get a nice allspice kind of umami sort of situation going on as well. It's delicious.
Excellent.
This whiskey
very
is
good.
very, very well done. This is I might actually pay $160 for this bottle. Mm-hmm. We normally say that, if I had a cap at $125 to pay for whiskey ever,
yeah,
I could find you some very fucking good bottles,
right?
That
precisely.
You would never be disappointed in for $125 or less.
I mean, heck, we could find you some good $30 whiskey.
Well, that's what I'm saying. That's what I mean. If you cap like $125 is the most I'll ever come out of pocket,
right?
Properly,
right?
If it wasn't for this show and we did the list,
right?
I don't normally pay more than $100 for a bottle of whiskey ever. Yeah. Because there's so much good shit at a value price.
You can find it.
Right. And it's readily available in a lot of cases. Mm-hmm. This is something fucking worth the price tag. It absolutely is worth the price tag. And the Heaven Hill last week, excellent. But again, it was only roughly $100, 115. Right. So fine. This is phenomenal. This is a great little. I'm very happy with the top 5 so far, and it has, for me, blown everything else out of the water. These 2 whiskeys, the rest of the list don't deserve to be in the top 5 compared to these 2.
Yeah, I would also say I would take it a little bit further. I have been highly impressed by every single whiskey since the 10. Now, there was some hits and misses on 11 through 20, but 10 down so far, I'm like, yep. And it's exactly where it belongs. Because, like, the Still Austin was very good. It was not better than the Heaven Hill or the Booker's.
Right.
Or this, as far as American whiskeys go, right?
Yeah.
Like,
fair dues.
Yeah. But so far, the top 10, I've been insanely impressed with.
Yeah, same.
And the next 3 are all coming from the same fucking place. So I'm excited to see how that all...
Scottish, aren't they?
Not even just Scottish.
They're all Islas.
Uh-huh. All Islas. So what else do we always have to do, Mr. Graham?
Well, be careful. If they smile, they might stab you. Always remember to drink responsibly, of course, ladies and gentlemen. Have a wonderful show.
Let's do it. Let's get into the action.
Well, the action is an understatement.
Well,
for the first one.
Well, we're taking, it's a comparative. We're doing contrasts here in the first segment. A real derby was completely outshadowed by the made-up one that gave us everything the Manchester derby should have. Palace 2, Brighton 1, Man City 0, United 0. Holy fuck, the El Gatwico fucking delivered, Graham.
Bro, it took a few minutes to get going.
Yeah, it took a few minutes to score.
Well, yeah. But I think that ramped it up, right? I think that ramped up the atmosphere. I think that got everybody fucking excited about it. Of course, it was in Palace's building.
Yeah.
So when Mateta, phenomenal shot, by the way. What a strike.
Well, not even just the strike, the kind of, he was completely turned. He kind of turned himself in, made the one touch, and then put it to the opposite corner. Like the whole build up and how he set himself up to pull off that shot. The way he ran along the line to stay on sides to get the ball. Like, of course. Now, it was beautiful.
Especially with that bionic thong he's got on his head.
Exactly. His thong ear.
His ear thong. But if you also, talking about contrast just within a game, how great Mateta was at occupying space, occupying players. The threat was always there. Obviously, 3 minutes in or whatever it was just a brilliant hit, a great run,
my God, yes.
A good touch to set himself up, brilliant strike, all this kind of stuff. And then you look at Eddie Nketiah's first 3 minutes. This is contrast within game.
Ooh, yeah, we will get
Fuck off, mates.
We will get to that.
I'll tell you what, you ain't learned that at Arsenal. The fuck are you doing, son?
I don't know. You see the number of red cards Arsenal used to get?
Yeah, but this was 2 yellows and one was for diving, and that was the first one.
Yeah.
That's some shit he learned at Liverpool somehow.
The other one, too, Henderson with the big double save also.
Oh, it was big time.
Ooh.
It was big time.
You know, and then just, and it seemed like at that point, you're just in the first half, you're like, oh, this is going to be Palace's day. And then Welbeck with his goal as the answer.
Oh, yeah. On a personal note, I had a 13, I think it was, game real money bet on my own accord. The only leg I missed was a Cairo Matoma shot on target.
Yeah.
For the whole thing.
Wow.
Yeah.
I missed
so super annoyed by that.
I missed my bet this week simply because
this was my own proper outside of the show.
But mine,
I missed that too.
Mine, I bet the Gatwick. I hit all of it. Mateta to score, both teams to score.
Yeah.
Eze to have a shot, Pedro to have a shot. Pedro didn't have a shot, and he got subbed in. So I do think if he'd have played the whole fucking game, he'd have definitely
of course
had a shot.
Yeah.
At that point, I'm
Brighton
looking at it.
Brighton did grow into the game.
Oh yeah,
they were with it for. There was some sloppy football. They were away from home. The atmosphere was overwhelming. I get all that.
Hendo's double save was fucking
was huge. But he made a couple of other saves in the game as well. Like you said, it was only 13 minutes in, but it was the double stop. But Welbeck took that, equalized on 31. And now we've got a fucking game on our hands. Now it's 1-1. Everybody's excited. Both teams, Brighton started a little slow. Palace started great. The crowd's up. And then Brighton pegs them back.
And there's a ton of fouls.
Well, first, like you say,
it is a physical fucking match.
Brighton pushes. Henderson makes the double save, which increases the atmosphere. It's like, yeah, they ain't fucking getting in today, man, kind of thing. And then Brighton goes, oh, but hold on a second. And Danny Welbeck, that guy Welbs, bang.
Yep. Just
1-1.
Gets right in, gets just in front of the defender, pokes out the toe, boom.
And that excites the away end. So now we got a proper atmosphere. It's 1-1. There's 10 minutes left in the first half. Brilliant. Brilliant. Poised this game is.
And then you get Munoz. Another fucking gorgeous
He only
goal.
seems to score super important goals. This is like what we said about Rodri. Doesn't score much, but when he's only, I think this was his 5th or 6th goal this season, which for a wingback is a very large amount.
Yeah.
But they've all been like game winners.
Oh, yeah. They're all like the most important goal.
Yeah. Of the day, they're the most important goal. And it was a great strike again, good run, good touch to get himself the half a yard to shoot. It was excellent. It was absolutely excellent. But then we get to the merry-go-round of cards.
Well, Nketiah comes on, does the dive.
Now, I will premise this section of the show by saying there's going to be a fair amount of bad refereeing covered in this show today.
Oh, yeah.
As there has been a fair amount of bad refereeing covered this season. This referee got everything spot on, in my opinion.
Oh, yeah. Every card was a card.
Yeah, big
Every
time.
card was a card.
Now, had Eddie Nketiah gone down from the contact, the referee would have had a decision to make.
Right.
The fact that he took 2 steps after the contact and then fell down was a problem.
And
again, I think he learned that from Mo Salah, not from the Arsenal Academy, by the way.
Then
just
you're on a yellow, and you don't have, it's a ball coming over your shoulder, but you don't have the wherewithal to look around you and know what's around you. Like,
I think
it's a no-brainer yellow.
Was,
like how high his foot was,
But it was. I've been in that position, and that ball to him was a bit flat.
Right.
It wasn't like it was looping. He had time to check. The ball was a bit flat and coming at him.
Yeah.
He's just, oh shit. He's just turning, and it's unfortunate. It's a definite yellow card.
Yeah.
Van Hecke, I thought, was obviously it wasn't even below the shoulder line, so it's not an actual dangerous play.
Right.
But if it's unfortunate for him because he's not looking at Nketiah either.
Right.
If he sees Nketiah's body shape, I think he jumps and tries to meet that ball, and Nketiah hits him in the knees.
Right, because he's in the air.
But he's just, oh shit, and he's looking straight at the ball also because it's coming at pace. and he goes, oh, fuck, and he's trying to react to it, and then bang, just boot meets jaw.
So here's where I would give more forgiveness.
And this was a real one.
Yeah.
Not, you remember Sadio Mane a few years ago against Ederson.
Right.
That ball was also bouncing and looping.
Yeah.
And he barely touched his face with a stud and saw straight red for it.
Yep.
I thought this was fair dues yellow. Nobody meant it. It wasn't a dangerous play on the defender. It wasn't and Nketiah's foot was waist height or so, maybe a little above his waist. It wasn't like ridiculously dangerous from him. It was just an unfortunate coming together.
I guess where my difference for you is you said, hey, it's happened to you numerous amounts of times. The difference between a defender and a striker. A defender, you just need to get the ball out, right? Because if the ball gets by you, that could be a goal.
Yeah.
In the case of a striker, if the ball gets by you, the ball just gets fucking by you.
Yeah.
Like, so in the case of Nketiah, it's like, yes, you should be a little more aware of your surrounding in that situation because you don't have to go for every ball. You don't have to.
But also, and
where as a defender,
I would argue
Van Hecker's later on, you got to go for that. Like, you're a fucking defender. You have to.
I also, when Eddie started his motion, Van Hecker was still about 8 yards away.
All right, fair enough. Fair enough on that.
He wasn't right on him. It's not like he was backing him down and then kicked him in the face.
And,
like he was not there.
And then we have Mark Gay gets one. He just kicked. I did the decision to just karate kick motherfuckers in the chest this week in this match.
Oh, this was in the dick.
All three of them were just karate kicks.
This was in the dick.
Oh yeah, got him good. Got him good.
But which one was in the dick? Was it the second yellow or the first yellow?
I think it was the second yellow.
Graham,
Yeah.
no matter how many times you say dick, that is not going to be the show title.
Okay, he did kick him in the dick.
Yes.
Though.
Yes.
What did I just say?
He kicked him right in the dick. I don't want it to be the show title, but he did kick him right in the dick. I just want the facts to be out there.
Right in the mommy and daddy button.
Yeah.
Sorry, how many times have you said dick now?
Listen, we have to maintain our English podcast status. So right in the mommy and daddy button. Is that what he said?
Yep.
That could be show title.
Oh no! So yeah, that was the second yellow. What was Gay's first yellow for? I don't remember. I didn't write it down for some reason.
I don't recall.
Doesn't matter. It was, but he kicked Gruda in the Grunda. Is what I wrote down. The person's name for Brighton was Gruda. Anyway, then in the 96th minute, Van Hecker saw his second yellow for bringing down Kamada.
His was hysterical because he
started walking towards
just
the corner.
Turned. He knew he was. It reminded me of you, where you're just like, "Yep,
Yeah,
here this one comes."
sure
Turns
did.
around and just started walking
I'm
away.
out. I'm fucking going.
I don't even need to see it. I already
I
know
already
what's
know,
happening.
yeah.
I'm making my way off the field.
Also, no straight red. It was 6 yellows.
Yep,
For
yeah.
all three sending offs, which is interesting. And I did write down he started walking towards the corner before the ref even pulled the card. He knew.
Yeah, he already knew.
The spin of the ball in that situation, though, as a defender, the spin of the ball didn't help that situation at all because it kind of backtracked towards the attacking player. So now he's stretching. Instead of being able to get a toe to it, it was just out of reach, and he ends up obviously bringing him down.
And comparative, again, Nketiah didn't have to go for the ball. Van Hecker had no choice in that situation as a defender, because if you don't go and try to get that ball, he's by you and scoring.
Yeah.
So you have no fucking choice as a defender. You have to go for it.
Yeah.
So it's just like, it's what it is, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
At least it wasn't a straight red in 3 games. It's a second yellow when he misses 1.
Palace's first league double over Brighton since 1933.
And
They haven't had the opportunity to play each other a ton. Because
Right, of
Brighton
course.
spent a lot of time in League One. Palace spent a lot of time in a championship.
Yeah, exactly.
In that time. But it's still, good to note, and they'll still needle each other over it. So
I put also let's mention Hendo's save right at the end of the match.
it was a very good save. Yeah.
Point blank range.
It was a
and
very
able
good
to
save.
get
I
wide
think it
and
was
knock
his
away.
right knee.
Yeah, just kind of got himself wide and
Yep.
got low and knocked it away.
Yep.
And
Got himself wide from the window to the wall.
posted a video on
Till the sweat dropped down his balls.
exactly on the Drunkard
He said,
United.
corner, motherfucker.
Okay. posted a video on Drunkard United FC, the closed group, about the rivalry, and very cool and kind of educational on like where it all came from, and hearing about like the Brighton manager throwing money
at the Palace supporters,
like, coins at him and saying that's all you're fucking
then
worth.
he ended up managing them years later or something
like that. Yeah. Found that very funny, but
and he even said it's not a derby because a derby is a local thing,
right?
Really,
it's a rivalry.
It's a rivalry, but it's a fucking needling. We hate each other rivalry.
And I heard very, very faintly in the Palace grounds.
Get my way downtown, walking fast. I'm a seagull. Go fuck yourself.
Eagle.
I did hear somebody else say, which was very funny, that I think now we've come up with something El Gatwick, which should stick.
Right.
It's not sticking for some reason.
It's I stole that from the Red and Blue podcast, which is one of the biggest Crystal Palace podcasts out there.
Yeah, so nobody else is calling it that. Everybody's still calling it the M23 or whatever, whatever the road is. Somebody said because they're both birds, they should be called the El Flappico Derby.
Yeah, no, El Gatwico. I like it.
I like Gatwico. I like what we did. Yeah. Or what they did that we stole.
Yeah. It's
the best content, stolen content, right?
If you're hearing it from me, it's been said twice that you got to remember. So everything that match was, Manchester City and Manchester United played a professional match in the English Premier League. And the only reason why this is in the first segment is so that I don't care what your thoughts on everything is. I just want to shit on this game because if it was going to waste 90 minutes of my fucking time, I feel it very pertinent to just talk about what absolute uninspiring dog shit this fucking match was.
All right, so I've got a few things here. The atmosphere was okay in the ground. That was the best thing about the match. Was the atmosphere.
Yeah.
Right? The fans got into it. Don't know why. Because the first sentence I wrote about this game was it was like watching two bald men fight over a comb. What's the point of this? What are we doing? And here's some FOTMob stats for you, the popular football app that gives you every game that day all across the world. Both teams had only one big chance each, according to them. Their combined XG, expected goals, was 1.41. Obviously, we didn't get even one.
Right.
A game that was devoid of any real quality. And Onana was the man of the match, which tells its own story.
Yeah.
That was it. Fuck them both. To be fair. There wasn't anything in the game to talk about.
Pep was incensed after the match because the United supporters were singing to Phil Foden, "Your mom is a slag, your mom is a slag. Hey there, Phil Foden, your mom is a slag," essentially calling his mom a whore.
Yeah, of course. But he's 24 years old with three kids already.
Right. So
he's a hoe too.
So
to his wife.
Pep was really, really incensed about that. Hey, Pep, how about give us something else to fucking talk about?
Yeah, do something.
Do something in the match. Anything.
We reference it a lot, that stick figure meme from back in the day that floats around a lot where he's poking the thing on the floor. Just do something. Do something.
Yeah, dude. It's dead.
I couldn't claw my fucking eyes out.
It was... I could have been enjoying the afternoon with my wife instead of watching. Like, it was just that fucking
Fuck
annoying.
the game. We do have to mention this because it is important and it is... big time. Kevin De Bruyne announced that he will not re-sign with City and he is leaving Manchester City at the end of the season.
Right.
And I think both teams did him a solid by putting in this drab performance. So we have the opportunity to appreciate what Kevin De Bruyne has brought to the league, which has been an exceptional amount of vision, wonderful passing accuracy, and an accuracy that I've only ever seen anything close by Mesut Ozil over the years. Just a vision and an intelligence about the game that just kind of rivals Nothing. The difference between the two of those players, and you even bring Zidane in that conversation with some of the passing. The difference is Kevin De Bruyne also put himself about, put in a defensive shift in a lot of occasions, which Ozil didn't quite. Zidane did, but typically got sent off. De Bruyne didn't do any of those dumb things. He put in a shift. We have been privileged to watch him in the Premier League over the years, as frustrating as it may have been for all of us, because he's an opposition player.
Right.
When somebody says they're leaving, it kind of makes you step back and take heed. He has been fucking excellent. It was like when David Silva left. Actually, been kind of fun watching you, man.
Honestly, all of the titles that City have won in recent time, you 100% go, you don't have De Bruyne, you probably don't win those titles.
Yeah. He was excellent the entire time, and this has been a more invigorating conversation for me than anything we said about the match.
And also, just because it's an opportunity to slag on United a little bit more, United, this is what you have become. You put in a defensive effort. The Gunners decided to have a training session that offered a disappointing result, but there's still a chance at a title in the most Fulhamish way. Arsenal 1, Everton 1, Fulham 3, Liverpool 2. Gunners rest a lot of players, and it showed, but you still found a way to get a halftime lead.
Yeah, so we still have a lot of people coming back from injury, right? We had the worry about Jerry Timber, so we started Ben White, then brought Timber on.
Right.
Saka didn't start. We brought him on at halftime. A lot of those kind of moves going on throughout the side to be ready for Real Madrid.
Decided to start Jorginho, which just brought your offense to a screeching halt.
Oh,
just
God,
slow.
O was on the bench, came on late on just to get 15 minutes as kind of a warm-up for Tuesday.
Yep.
It was frustrating to watch, obviously. Thought when we got the breakthrough, great, this is going to be good. I was mostly worried about Kivior. Beto bullied Virgil van Dijk in the midweek, rather.
Right.
And I was like, well, Kivior's going to have a test, here with Beto coming at him. Y'all didn't really do anything.
No, not really.
In the first half at all, and I was like, "Oh, okay, this might be fine." You had the mistake, obviously, giving the ball to Declan Rice, which led to the Arsenal goal in the first half. I was like, "Okay, we're going to cruise to a 2-0 win, no problem." Then Miles Lewis-Skelly decides to be a 17-year-old again and give the referee a decision to make. What I will say about that is the referee was piss poor. In this match, he, just to give you context, he blew 40 seconds early, even though he knew the time.
Yeah.
So apparently, can't even tell time.
Right.
Then restarted the match anyway.
Right. God forbid if Everton had scored. Oh, my God. God forbid if Everton had scored.
Arteta might have killed him.
Yeah. Yeah, it would, and honestly would have been justifiable in it.
It was absurd. I don't think the penalty was a penalty. I think the actual foul itself happened outside the box.
Yep.
I think everything subsequently, also don't even really think it was a foul. They were both wrestling. Harrison had his arm over his shoulder, grabbing his shirt. Miles Lewis-Skelly had his arm around his waist, grabbing his shirt. I think it was a tussle for two things. You could have called it on either player. Benefit of the doubt to the attacker, fine. But it's 2 yards outside the box, and it's a fucking free kick, and that's it. The actual fall happens inside the box, and there is minimal contact. Now, that being said, the referee called it a penalty on the field.
Means you need to reverse it.
Clear and
in
obvious,
VAR.
right, which means you need to reverse it. Fine. And this is the metric we're given is clear and obvious. Okay, fine. Is there a continuation like there is in basketball? Yes, there is. They clarified that last year. If a foul starts outside the box, advantage is played and continues inside the box, it can then be deemed a penalty. So fine. Okay. No problem there. You want to call that no issue. I just think it's soft as baby shit, and it's absolutely absurd, and it's a string of ridiculous decisions, not only against Arsenal. There have been an absolutely ridiculous amount of bad decisions this season, in my opinion.
Wouldn't disagree.
Paul Tierney was the VAR in this game. Mm-hmm. Paul Tierney is only VAR'd 13% of the time. Mm-hmm. Paul Tierney is responsible for 40% of the VAR mistakes.
Wow. Maybe he shouldn't be VAR.
Just speaks. I don't know any other evidence that I need, to be honest, that it was a bad decision.
Yeah.
Did the game deserve a draw? Absolutely. It was a piss poor game.
Should have been 0-0.
It was bad.
You guys shouldn't have scored the goal because we made a mistake to set that up for the goal. The penalty probably should have never been called. And I'm with you. It was an exceptionally soft penalty. If he didn't call the penalty, VAR would not have overturned and said it was a penalty.
Right, correct.
Because he called it a penalty, VAR
Couldn't overturn it. Right.
It wasn't clear and obvious. And it was
However,
it the softest of softest penalties? Hell yeah,
when you look at the other stat,
yeah,
it probably could have overturned it.
Yeah, no shit with the way he goes.
Just because of this cunt.
It was, and honestly, like Everton had made a bunch of changes as well in their lineup. They had started like Patterson out on left back. He's never played left back before. He's always been a right back. But again, in the same instance,
Sid Mikalenko was out though, injury.
But you would have put Ashley Young out there because Ashley Young's played left back a bunch, right?
But I don't think David Moyes fancies Ashley Young.
David Moyes wants to see what he's got, right? We've already talked about this. T.I. gets a start. Why did T.I. get a start? He wants to see what T.I. has. That's it. That's what he's doing. McNeil is back and Jai is back. So.
And Jai gets a penalty.
Yeah.
Obviously scored the penalty.
So very, very good thing. So,
and Jordan Pickford did come up with like three brilliant saves.
Including a save that isn't a save because
it was offside.
That
was probably the best save of the match.
You know,
doesn't even count.
He was in the air and somehow moved his body up more while in the how did you somehow elevate your body more from, or like you were jumping and then somehow went whoop, like even
you ever
higher.
watched White Man Can't Jump, that movie? That's how you just do that.
Absolutely insane. So we turn ourselves to Fulham and Liverpool, and I got this for you.
Hey, this is Brian, Fulham supporter, Fulham South member. Brentford derby win, a win at Chelsea at Stamford Bridge, Man U winning the FA Cup, Spurs win, and now Liverpool. Hey, Graham, I'll take those flowers now.
Oh, there you go. He wants a little love.
I'd give you love if you weren't in fucking ninth. Because you fucked it off against Bournemouth. You fucked it off against who else? Let's not only go through your very positive situations. Let's go through your negative ones also. If you really want to call stuff out, because you should have beat Bournemouth in the midweek, and you didn't. Was it Bournemouth they played?
I don't remember.
I'll look it up. No, go just start doing this one. That's fine. I'll look it up.
3 unanswered.
Because I'm petty like that.
3 unanswered from Fulham in the first half. By the end of the first half, it's 3-1 after McAllister had put them up 1-0. And all 3 goals, gotta say, this is a thing. Their defense is fucking shaky right now.
Oh, yeah.
Van Dijk got pushed off a ball again.
Van Dijk looks like he's about 42 years old.
Van Dijk got pushed off a ball again and then turned and looked to the ref for like
Muniz made him look like a schoolboy.
He just rolled you off. Like you weren't, he shooed you off like a fucking fly. Mm-hmm. And then if you're looking at the replay, you're just trying to grasp at him and pull him to the ground as he fucking puts it away. Like the Robertson with a piss poor ball across the middle that gets intercepted.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
that was bad.
Iwobi's goal. Ooh, that was a nice little strike.
But Muniz's touch for what was the third goal, was it? That Iwobi just leaned back and was like, let's just get it somewhere near. Mm-hmm. And then Iwobi Muniz rather, just bullied Van Dijk.
Yeah.
Just gave him a wee bump.
Yeah.
And then the touch itself and the turn was like Bergkamp-esque.
Huh.
Really, against Newcastle,
and then
where he touches it around the defender's back, spins the other direction, collects the ball again, and then slots it home. This is absurd.
Then the other of the goals was
absurd defending.
Was Konate getting knocked off the ball way way too easily.
Fulham lost to Manchester United this season.
They
Your Flowers were almost dead.
Knocked him out in the FA Cup is what he's talking about.
Yeah, that's fine. We're talking about the league right now. These are different competitions, son.
Okay.
All right. You lost to Manchester United 1-0 at home.
Okay.
Couldn't even get up for that one.
All right.
And you only seem to get up for big games. So I don't want to hear it. I don't want to. You lost to West Ham.
Mm-hmm.
Ugh, goodness. Drew Ipswich. Drew Bournemouth in December. Come on. Come on. You let Wolves score. You lost to Brighton in March on this run of form.
You let Wolves score is no. If you let Leicester score, then okay, I'd be like, oh damn,
they've only scored 4 and 18 or something.
We're gonna get to
That's
them.
ridiculous.
I want to wait till Oso to talk about their fucking run.
All right, Fulham is up to 8th. Fair dues to them. They're 3 points to Villa, and they do have a better goal difference.
And
Fulham does.
And frankly,
And they're only 3 points to Villa, so that's fine.
In this match, they took the fucking match to Liverpool, and they outplayed Liverpool. They out-hustled Liverpool. They out-physicaled Liverpool.
Oh, yeah. Big time.
Every
now, I will say, though,
aspect, they outplayed Liverpool.
all that being said, and that is very well done. You have to give some credit to Alexis McAllister. So while the rest of Liverpool has fucked off the rest of the season, supposedly, allegedly, Mohamed Salah didn't even have a shot on target.
Mm-hmm.
I think his first shot at all came in like the 60th minute in this game. So that's Liverpool's right, which means Murica,
right.
Anthony Robinson, come on. You marshaled him well, son. Well done. Alexis McAllister took this game by charge from the jump, and then was seemingly very pissed off at the rest of his team the rest of the time.
Mm-hmm. Don't
because
disagree.
He put in a decent little tackle to win the ball, I think it was. Got the ball back, beat a Fulham defender, and then everyone sort of backed off a bit and gave him the space, and then he just absolutely cranked one.
Mm-hmm.
And he seems to be the only one that fucking cares all of a sudden. Diaz only knows one speed, and that's 150 miles an hour. That's how he scored his goal.
Yeah, of course.
It was just a better reaction, basically, to... I thought it could have been a little bit better defending. But Fulham did the damage before that, right? I mean, it was... Iwobi was excellent, again. You know, how many times... His renaissance. It didn't seem to really cut the mustard. It was very hit or miss at Arsenal. Either he was a world beater or he was dog shite.
Sessegnon seemingly really bedded in this side now.
Again. Yeah, because he did the first time he was there. And then earned his move to Spurs, remember?
Yep.
And then was shit at Spurs. But, not solely his fault. And then came back to Fulham, and he's reinvigorated his career. So, you know, Iwobi seemed to learn the hard work bit at Everton. Those, 3-4 years he was there, whatever it was. And now that he's at Fulham, that has a little bit more of an expansive play, they're not as a disorganized side as Everton were.
Right, of course.
He now has the experience of Arsenal. He now has some, kind of mates he came through with in ML Smith Rowe and a few others that play the football, that do the things he wants. He's a manager that wants to play this way as well. Played for that manager at Everton, I believe. So they had a relationship. I don't know if they overlapped or not, actually.
No,
now that I think about it.
He might have
close.
Been.
It was close.
Man.
It may or may not have overlapped there. Anyway, seems a decent fit. And he's playing some of the best footballers of his career.
Oh, absolutely.
Now. Especially this season in particular. He's added goals. He's got assists. He's putting tackles in. He's doing very, very well. And still playing decently for Nigeria also.
The door ain't open, but there's definitely a crack. There's light. You could see a little something.
Yeah, but again, it's 11 points. If we beat you, I'd be a bit more upbeat because we do still have to play Liverpool.
Right.
So I'd be a bit more upbeat, right? So if it was 9 points going into that game, now it only takes us 2 games.
Here's where we're going to find out for Liverpool is
I don't see it.
End of April, it's Spurs, then it's Chelsea, then it's you, and then it's Brighton. And that's kind of it right there. So if they come out a little slow next weekend, even if they win, let's just say they win 1-0. Where are we at then? So it's not officially done yet. And I think, and I want to have your opinion on this one, Graham, is do we think that maybe Liverpool went out there and played this game like they thought they already won the fucking title?
Oh, yeah. I don't think they're excited about anything. I think it started with the loss at PSG. They were disappointed, obviously, in the performance, in the manner in which they lost, and everything else. And they then crash out of the FA Cup to Plymouth.
Right.
Then, actually, Plymouth might have happened first. Then PSG. Then they come back. Arsenal drop a couple points. They win a game or two. Now we're 12 points. Now it's like, what do we play for now? Now I can't get up for it. And now Salah still hasn't signed his contract. Van Dijk still hasn't signed his contract. Now I think it's like, you know what? We might actually be done here. Now I wouldn't be surprised if both of them left and Liverpool finish in 10th next season.
Rounding out the rest of the league, and so that happened. Villa 2, Forest 1, Wolves 2, Ipswich 1, West Ham 2, Bournemouth 2, Brentford 0, Chelsea 0, Newcastle 3, Leicester 0, Spurs 3, Southampton 1. Big win for Villa, man. That's a statement game right there for the hunt of for being in the hunt for Champions League.
I don't want to be a downer. Yes, you're right. I don't want to be a downer, but I think Nuno got this one wrong tactically.
Oh, I don't disagree.
He's missing Chris Wood. He's missing Awoniyi, so he didn't really have a focal point. So he tried to switch to a back three and do this weird false nine thing with Hudson-Odoi at first, or Elanga, whoever it was.
Yeah.
Switched to the other one, brought on Jack Grealish from Timu. Can't remember his name.
Jota
Silva. Yeah. Timu Jack Grealish.
Maybe that's the
With
title
a
of the
really
show.
skinny thigh.
Yeah, it's bad, right? Yeah, it's horrible. He actually scored in the game, too. But I think Nuno tactically got this wrong. I think he should have just stayed in the same system, stayed with what he knew, and their entire thing is counterattacking anyway.
Right.
So just set up to soak up pressure.
Yeah.
And he didn't. He
like
set up in a very attacking style of formation.
Yeah.
And it just didn't work. And Villa found all the pockets of space. They found all of the creativity. Villa found everything they needed to find. And I told you on Thursday night when we did Injury Time. Patreon.com/DFootball show for anyone that doesn't know. Injury Time is our preview show where we talk about the upcoming games the following weekend. $5 a month. Very easy to sign up, actually. But then I said this to you. I said I think you're going to see a different type of Villa. Even though there was a midweek game, we're getting to the business end, and they're not yet in fourth spot.
Yep.
And they're going to want that fourth spot.
Yes, they are.
And you had a full rotation of the front line, essentially, right? You had Asensio was there. Rashford was rested, brought on.
Yep.
Kind of did some good things when he came on as well. You had Ollie Watkins start, right? And then that got changed, and Mullen went into the middle, I think, when he came off.
Yep.
And then Mullen came off, and Rashford stepped into the middle. And it was this brilliant kind of, circulation of everybody got a bit of a rest, but everybody also played and got their nut. And Villa looked energetic. They looked exciting, and they, in my opinion, put it to Forest.
Well, that was
Forest. They did. Forest gave them the opportunity to do that, if that makes sense.
Well, that's what I was going to say for Villa. They cracked the code on how you beat Forest. You punch them in the face early. That's how you have to beat Forest, because otherwise Forest will counterattack you to death. They are perfectly fine soaking up pressure and letting you have the ball, and then they'll just counterattack you to death. That's what they will do.
Correct.
You have to punch them in the face early So they are forced to then dictate play forward.
Morgan Rogers
You
only
have
took
to do that
13
to
minutes. Only took 13 minutes to open the scoring.
Yep.
The game needed a goal. But that also, again, it drew Forrest out a bit more in a formation. They were also already rather unbalanced and uncomfortable in. And that allowed Villa the chance to really exploit the spaces. It allowed Villa the chance to really make them look dumb,
And
in my opinion.
As you said with Villa,
In context to the rest of how their season's gone.
they rotated accordingly and got the best results out of their players, kind of unlike what your guys did, where you rotated, sure, but did you really get anything out of anyone? No, not really, you know?
No, because it was like the old Seinfeld bit about horses don't know that they're going to get shot if they break an ankle. And if they did know that piece
They'd
of
be
information,
they'd be
they'd be
sidestepping.
a lot of high stepping down the home stretch there. You finish first, I'll finish whatever.
Yeah, we're good. No worries. We're all
The
all
most
here to
important thing
advance.
is your health.
Yep, exactly. This seemed like the Tractor Boys, it was going to be their day. It was going to happen for them. They score the goal. They have that
Delap
crazy...
Ev's a good goal from
They
Delap.
have that crazy indirect free kick because Palmer had misplayed the ball and had to hit it with his hand off the line. So you had that. I do love the bit where like the ball's on the 6 for an indirect free kick. And so the entire team just lines up on the goal line and runs at the ball.
The goalkeeper typically is in front of the wall in that situation.
Yep.
Yeah. I like that. I do like that.
And it was...
But so it was a back pass. He took his eye off of it,
It went
lifted
under
his
his
foot up
foot,
to it, went
and
under
then
his
he had
foot,
to jump
and then he had
and
to
knock it
jump
away
and
with his
claw it
hand.
away, which was fantastic.
Yep. Yeah. And
But they didn't call an indirect free kick because he had essentially touched the ball, just miscontrolled it.
right.
So it wasn't a direct from a back pass handball.
Right. So it was a direct free kick. That's right. Not an indirect free kick.
It was no free kick. It was a corner.
No, they had that ball. They kicked the ball on the 6. Wolves got a free kick on the 6.
They didn't show
all
that in the
lined up on
highlight
line.
package.
Yeah, they did show it in the highlight package.
I didn't see it because he touched the ball on the goal
Yeah,
line.
they showed it right after that on the highlight
So
package.
why would it be on the 6?
Because that's where they put it. Because you can't have it right on the goal
Why
line.
can't you? That's where the foul
That's
happened.
where it was. It was on the 6. That's what
dumb.
happened. Okay. Anyways, moving on. I'd like to get to the point because this is so, and we talk about these games quickly. It seemed like it was going to be the Tractor Boys' day until the 70th minute, and then it wasn't.
Yeah.
Then that was it. Like two goals from Wolves, and at the 70th minute, you could just, the minute they got that goal, you just could see it in Ipswich just go, fuck. You could see the whole team. You could feel the stadium just go, fuck.
I feel bad for Palmer. Again, though, Sarabia's goal unsighted him, and it was an accident. Even came back to him.
Yep.
And in real time speed, I thought Strain Larson just kind of fell into the ball.
Yeah, he did.
He actually he
Well,
did
it looked
very
like it, yeah.
It looked like it. So I was like, fuck. And just like he was accidentally picked number 1, he accidentally scored again.
Exactly.
I was like, I think I said that on Thursday.
He was slowing himself up so that he wouldn't run in front of the ball.
But he
hit
did
him.
very well to check his run. And it was actually decent, so good on him. But
And-
overall, it was a very poor game. You're absolutely right. Ipswich are obviously nearer to relegation because of it.
Yeah.
This was kind of last chance saloon in terms of shortening the gap to something manageable.
Yeah. And it's
'cause
now
Wolves
a
are
12,
the-
it's
just
now a
not gonna
12-point lead.
It's just not going to happen.
Last week I said it was a 12-point lead. It was a 9-point lead, but now it's a 12-point lead.
This is not going to happen.
It's a 15-point lead, and then we'll talk about how that ultimately affected Southampton with the final game.
Yep.
Interesting to see Bowen up top. I mean, I guess just Potter's like, fuck it. Ferguson and Furlong aren't giving me what I want, so let me just put Bowen up there and see what he could do.
But Bowen did that under Moyes.
A little, not a lot, though.
No, but when they had injuries, he kind of did the false 9 gig.
But Potter had strikers on his bench. He just went,
He just
fuck it,
doesn't trust them.
I'd rather go with the guy who I know is going to score.
Full Krug, I don't think it's trust. Full Krug just came back from injury. So I think he's not ready to start yet. Ferguson, I don't think just came back from injury. I just think he doesn't trust him and that kid needs a goal. He needs some confidence.
Oh, he desperately needs a goal.
He needs some confidence. But essentially the highlight package started on this game for me at 38 minutes.
Yeah.
Finally something happened. They did the knee for racism.
Yep.
They kicked the game off. They showed about 12 seconds, and then it jumped to 38.
Yep.
So there was fuck all going on. Semenyo had a shot saved. Ariel spilled it, obviously. Evan Nilsson reacted first. But he should have never been in that position,
right?
To be honest. And we're going to talk about that very shortly with Leicester.
Yeah.
About
precisely.
reacting as a defense.
Yeah, exactly. Jesus.
And you would expect better from the West Ham back line, to be honest, because one thing they have done has been relatively organized.
What I found kind of funny about this match, for being a 2-2 match, it really wasn't that entertaining of a match. It had goals, and it was a lot of mistakes. It was very sloppy. For the Cherries, at least you finally get a point after the way you've been sliding lately, but it wasn't impressive. You didn't look good at all.
So for somebody like Nicholas Fulkrug, who got the initial equalizer with the strong header, everyone on the ground, like other professionals, would have been happy for him. You've had a tough go of it. You had some injuries. You did this, that, the other when you first came to West Ham. You got a goal. Well done. Good on you. Even the opposing team would have been like, okay, he needed one. No. The most disappointed person in that stadium was Evan Ferguson.
Yeah.
About that. It's like, shit, I needed that goal.
Yeah, that's the goal I needed to score.
And he didn't get it because Fulkrug came on and got it himself.
Yep.
Which was quite difficult, obviously, for him. But it was a laser beam of a fucking header. He did very well to get it in.
Yep.
And we talked midweek about the chance he missed, which seemingly was easier to score. So this should hopefully, for West Ham fans, give them a bit of impetus going forward for the rest of the season. Probably too far away from any sort of European place to catch anyone, because it would require them to drop a lot of points in addition to West Ham going on a winning run. Mm-hmm. But you sign the guy, get a little bit of momentum for the rest of the season. Let's have a good season off. I don't think West Ham are participating in the Club World Cup. Probably.
No.
So it's one of those, like, get a summer off, get a good, take this momentum, let's work hard, and bang, we start next season. We got our top striker.
Right. For the next match, I don't want to talk a ton about it because it was really a dog shit match, and I want to spend more time on the last two. The Bees are finally getting healthy, so Rico Henry, it was good to see him get back into the game after a long absence. For Chelsea, it's very simple. These are the games you're supposed to fucking win. If you're going to be in Champions League, this is absolutely positively the game you need to win.
And they started to turn the screw a bit occasionally, but Flecken,
but it never went in the net. They never got anything in the net.
The best chance of the game to me was, it was Yanelt, whatever defender it was, that kicked it accidentally straight at his own goalkeeper. Shanked his clearance.
Yeah.
And it went straight to Flecken. But Flecken stopped it, blocked it, and then the defender put it out for a goal kick.
Right.
Or a corner, rather. And they just looked at each other, and he went, sorry, man.
Yeah.
They high-fived and were able to move past it and stayed organized. But it is a damning indictment of Chelsea. Yeah. I thought Brentford had some decent chances in this game as well. So, kind of when they went on that decent run, Chelsea's defense kind of propped them up in certain situations. Obviously, Cole Palmer was providing the magic up front, was sprinkling the bacon on the salad that made it a meal, so to speak. And now they just don't have that at the moment. And we see what they are without Palmer being on song.
It's either this weekend or next weekend. Chelsea and Newcastle play each other. Newcastle's going to beat them.
Yeah.
I've
got a very extensive bet of the week this week.
I feel like
I've got two surprises in there.
I really do. I'm starting to fancy Newcastle and Villa's chances to
break in
be
the top four,
to be 4th and 5th, and City and Chelsea to be 6th and 7th.
Yeah.
It's really, I don't, especially when you think of Chelsea's inability to score and City just missing, Haaland, and I don't think they're going to have enough to get over the finish line. And I really do think that those two teams have got a better chance of being 4 and 5.
Can I also say Brentford should have won the game with the Vandenberg header.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Should have scored. It was a free header in the 80th minute, but ultimately both goalkeepers did relatively well in the game. There were a few chances. Ultimately, the game overall disappointed, though, in my eyes.
So Wolves get that win and put themselves 12 points in front of Ipswich. At the time, 15 points in front of Leicester. Leicester knows what they need to do. They're in their own building. And this match was over in the first fucking 11 minutes.
They just suck.
In the first 11 minutes.
Leicester just sucked, though. Are you surprised?
Sam, real quick. 8 home games with 8 losses with no fucking goals. Not a single goal in your fucking stadium. So your back is against the wall. This is when you have to do something. Something. And in 11 minutes, the game is fucking done.
In 16 games, Leicester have scored a total of 4 goals. And in one of those 16 games, they scored 2. It was their only win against Spurs.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
There were 2 other games they scored 1 each. But in 16 games, they've scored 4 fucking goals. And they started this game okay. Jamie Vardy, it helps when you're still when you're running at the defense while they're still taking a knee to combat racism.
The Fabian
How about
Schär
donate some money to a cause.
The second goal, the
Stop
Fabian
taking a knee and just do
Schär
it.
shot from midfield
Action
that hit off the post that Murphy followed up and scored, is the least embarrassing from the defense. That's the least embarrassing goal from the defense.
It's not, though, because you had 40 yards of a free run to stay on task, and you couldn't even fucking manage that. Yeah. Jacob Murphy was running down the field with a smile. Yeah. Because he knew Wout Face and Connor Cody's old ass weren't going to get back, and they didn't get back. He took a shit first touch and still scored. And here's what I'll tell you, and this is the only thing I'm going to say about this game because it was fucking garbage. This was the same as the Arsenal-Everton game, and it had the intensity of a training game, except for Newcastle seemed to be playing against a bunch of Make-A-Wish kids because they were just trying shit.
Yeah.
Just trying shit. Trick shots off the crossbar from halfway. And it still ended up in the back of the net because the defense decided to take a nap. And Hermeinson, or whatever his name is, did this half-hearted dive towards the crossbar from the edge of his 6-yard box. Maybe he tripped. Maybe he just can't jump really good. I don't know what it was. But he took himself completely out of the fucking game.
Yeah, he stays on his feet. He maybe gets the rebound
gives
save.
Jacob Murphy something to think about.
Right.
But it didn't matter because in the first 90 seconds of the game, Harvey Barnes was allowed to square across the face of goal with no less than 3 Leicester defenders in the 6-yard box and the goalkeeper. So 4 Leicester players.
That's why I think that's more embarrassing than the second fucking goal.
In the fucking 6-yard box. And Jacob Murphy has a fucking tap in at the end of the thing. It's...
And then Barnes' goal that he scored, fucking Wout Face. Shocker, Wout Face fucking can't defend. He just, it's
sad, dude. It's really bad. Listen, pay me $50,000 a week. I'll quit smoking for $50,000 a week, and I'll go do better than that. I promise.
I'll at least
I'll
try.
be 39 in May, and I will do better than that.
And
my hair looks better.
Here's the thing, in for that too,
it's absurd.
It's still
I'm more mad at Leicester than I am Southampton.
It is a couple of weeks away from them being officially relegated, but you should already make the bar red and put the big R next to them because they're already relegated. They're already gone.
They've been relegated since November.
But I mean, just the slightest bit of want or try, and the worst part is 38-year-old fucking Jamie Vardy is running his dick off out there for no good fucking reason.
Yep.
The rest of his fucking team doesn't care. The rest of his team could give a shit.
Yep.
If I'm Vardy,
horrible.
I'm fucking retiring. I'm done. I'm walking away.
What's the point
Unless
of
he
this?
wants to go play for somebody else and be a backup striker someplace. But
It's like, what's the point of it anymore?
like,
I'm
there's
out here
no
busting my
reason to
ass,
stay
and
there.
this is what you turn in, Vout face? Fuck you. Connor Cody's as old as Vardy is almost. So I get it. Like, something hit him in the face early on. A cross hit him in the face early on, so it might have been days the rest of the match. Who knows?
So
It's horrible. They said something about Harry Winks not traveling very far because he lives far away. Like, what kind of excuse is that to not be at a game?
yeah, just be at the
Like, what are you
fucking
talking
game.
about?
Be at the game.
There's some weird comment made by one of the commentators I heard. I'm not sure the validity of any of it. It was just a strange thing to say if it wasn't, like, kind of weirdly true.
And then we move on to the league's first relegated side. The earliest a team has ever been relegated in the history of the Premier League.
Before anyone pulls us up, not calendar, but amount of matches left.
Yes, amount of matches left.
So there were 3, maybe 4 clubs that have been relegated with 6. Pompey was relegated with 5.
Yep.
There are 7 matches remaining, and Southampton have been confirmed as relegated.
On the 8th match, that's when it
Also,
happened.
this is why I enjoy recording late at night.
Yeah.
We got the news that Southampton have also parted ways with their manager this morning. So we were able to hear that news before we recorded.
Because that's going to change everything.
Well, the why?
Like, what did you expect him to do?
But that's it. So why hire him? Like the firing shows that they thought he had a chance to keep them up when he came on.
Like,
They knew that he was not the guy for the championship based on this.
right. Then why'd you hire him?
So why'd you hire him?
right.
Because all of us knew in about mid-October that you were going down.
Yeah, we already knew. Russell Martin completely had this team set up wrong. The minute they came up, it was not going to go well for him. You could tell
It did
right
well
away.
in the championship, and that's fine, but this is a step up, and you have to change your tactics. We saw what happened to Luton. Like, you had a very obvious fucking example 12 months ago, and now you see what happens with a club in fully financial ruin. When you fire a manager too early in the season, you let some players hang around that shouldn't be there, and now Luton's about to go down a second time. Wouldn't surprise me if Luton end up in League 2 in about 12 months.
Yeah, wouldn't surprise me either. Now, you also have in this situation, they could be the worst team in the history of the Premier League. 11
They're sitting
points.
on 10 points.
They're sitting
Yeah.
on 10. I'm going to tell you right now, I wouldn't mind seeing that record broken, but it won't be. Do you know why? Because they still get to play fucking Leicester.
I think Leicester might.
And Southampton can at least score a goal. I can't say the same thing for fucking Leicester.
Well, but here's the thing about Leicester. I think, Jamie Vardy still has pride, right? Southampton are bad enough that Vardy will get a goal. I could honestly see a score-in draw against Leicester, and they equal Derby County's record. And I think that may be the best they can do
Well,
with the remaining 7
don't
games.
forget there's the great opportunity for us to Everton that. We get them for our final home game at Goodison. Watch us fucking lose to them.
No.
It won't happen. It won't
You'll
happen.
6-0 them.
The
Final game at Goodison for a club of the way you all operate and that place being so important, you'll 6-0 them at home.
So to let people know, obviously Derby County, the worst team in the history with 11 points. Another one of the worst teams in history, the fourth worst, was Sheffield with 16 points. That's the one who gave up over 100 goals 2 seasons ago. There is a chance at the end of this season that you will have 2 teams that got relegated from this season be 2 of the worst 5 teams to ever play in the Premier League.
So there is an issue with this that is a broader football problem. The gap between the championship and the Premier League and the money and the this and the that and the other, that could be further evidence that gap is growing.
Oh, yeah,
which makes we've been screaming for pro rel in America for a long time and how it makes football interesting. This could be the death of pro rel in England effectively, because the same 3 would come up, the same 3 would go down. because they're getting the Premier League nut.
2 years
they're
in a row.
going down with the money.
2 years in a row this has happened.
And the rest of the league is now the have. It's the have and the have-nots gap is growing. I do want to point out also real quick, in England, I don't know what their point system is in terms of like driver's license violations, but if you got the same number of points that Southampton currently are on, and I think it's 17 of the teams in the league, maybe 18 of the teams in the league, you would be disqualified from driving. You would have your license suspended based on the points. If you had as many points as Southampton have, you could still drive your car.
Wow.
What a fucking damning indictment of how shit the football's been.
Yeah.
They just don't care. And that's the sad part, is like, just change the tactics just once.
Right.
Just try.
Right.
Just try to play
something.
defensive.
Anything.
Just do something. You have a fucking good goalkeeper back there. He played for the second best team in England last season. Just fucking try. Just doesn't.
Sure money.
And just like Southampton, I lost it again.
Yep.
It's absolutely fucking pitiful. I'm now down $29 fucking $100.
Hey, Sam,
Sweet.
just try. Just try something.
I got some extensive this week. It's a big boy this
right.
week.
Well, I am still up $903, even though Yao Pedro did not get a shot on target. If he had, that would have gotten me another $7.99 if I would have gotten one shot on target.
Yep.
Against a 9-man fucking Crystal Palace side. You're their top striker. How do you not get a shot on target, you fucking asshole? That drove me nuts. But, like I said, I'm up $903.
Big Sam's Lock of the Week.
27.586206.9% of the time, Mr. Graham. Works 100% of the time. And I can already say, unless you pull off a miracle, we're getting very close to a my own St. Totteringham's Day over you. But also, the rest of the way, worst I will do is still end up in the black.
Okay.
No matter what, I will still end up in the black. So this week, I'm taking a 3-leg parlay. I'm going to take Brighton, Villa, and Newcastle to beat Leicester, Southampton, and Man United. 3 shit clubs. And that pays out $278.
Good for you.
Yeah.
You ready? You ready for this?
I am ready for it.
Said
9-way parlay.
oh my. It might be 10 actually. 3, 6.
Not good
7, 8,
gambling.
9, 10. Yeah, it is 10. It's 10.
9-way parlay.
If this hits, it will be a 3.448% chance it works every time. If it hits. 'Cause right now I'm sitting at 0.
Yeah, 0.
But listen to this, and I think you're going to be excited about it. Actually, I think it has a chance,
Okay.
even though DraftKings does not. Palace or draw, double chance at City. Mateta to score at any time.
Okay.
Yes, a goal scored in both halves. Palace have had a thorn in City's side over the last few seasons. They won 3-0, lest we forget, 3 seasons ago maybe, at City. They're at City. City are in a bad way. No Haaland. Marmoush, obviously, looking at the Manchester United game, isn't the best striker in the world. Obviously, it's not his preferred position.
Right.
Palace, again, have recent success there. They also are one of the formed teams in the league easily.
Absolutely would agree with that
So
statement.
I think that happens. Villa to beat Southampton over 1.5 goals. No. Both teams to score. So those are 3 legs there. Brighton to beat Leicester, Arsenal to beat Brentford, Chelsea to beat Ipswich, and Newcastle to beat United.
Okay.
I think this is a quality
You have
fucking...
Villa not scoring.
No, Villa to beat Southampton over 1.5 goals.
Oh.
So you win 2-0 or
Oh,
better.
I thought you said no scores. I thought it was like, okay.
No to both teams to score.
Oh, okay, yeah.
But there's over 1.5 goals and you win.
Sorry,
So
I just heard no score. And I'm like, we're fucking right and left, dude.
you win 2-0 or better.
Yep, cool. That's yes.
Doing this in 3 separate legs, I got better odds than the -1.5 spread.
What did John Oliver call those?
I don't remember.
Sucker bets?
Sucker bets.
Basically, I did a parlay to mirror a -1.5 spread,
Okay.
right? over 1.5 goals, not both teams to score, but Villa to win.
Right. Gotcha.
So I got 50 points better on my odds because I did it this way. Anyway, all of those 10 things together get me plus 12,821. So
Terrible with money.
My $100 bet would see me plus 9,000 and change should it hit. And we're all fairly comfortable with what I put down on paper.
Get it the fuck together, Sam.
So much so, I put $1 on it when I built it. And that dollar would pay me $128.21.
Okay. Very good.
So I did bet a cold hard American $1 bill on that bet.
All right. Well, that is going to wrap it up, boys and girls. Mr. Graham, any parting words?
Yes, so there's two things. There's one very positive thing. We don't often cross sports lines on the show. But living in this area and living in this region, we must acknowledge the wonderful career of the great 8 Alex Ovechkin and passing the great one, Wayne Gretzky, this past weekend. On Friday, he was at home, equaled the record with still the third period to play, or 12 minutes or so left in the third period to play. And we wanted him to do it. He had 3 excellent shots. And then the goalkeeper for the Blackhawks decided he is Martin Brodeur all of a sudden. And 3 very good saves on Ovi. But he did equal the record. Gretzky was in attendance. Found out this fun fact, which is very cool. Gordie Howe, who Gretzky beat out his record in 1994, Gordie Howe followed Gretzky around for the 10 games it took Gretzky to beat his record after equaling his record. It only took Alex 2 when he got close. Gretzky showed up to the one on Friday. He equaled it. Great. Got the claps in the stands, got the TV footage. In New York against the Islanders on Sunday, Ovi obviously scored number 895, a record in sports that nobody thought was going to be broken, and very well done to him for that. And it's been an honor and a privilege to have him as a one-club man in the NHL with our very own Washington Capitals. And that it's just been a privilege to watch his career up close and personal being in this region. He's always also, obviously we have a very weird relationship with Russia over the years. He stayed out of the politics. He's very kind of Americanized. It's just a joy. It's just happy. Just all of it's happy. And that's a wonderful thing. I'm
still not sure that man is sober from winning the Stanley Cup.
I know, right?
Remember, he won the Stanley Cup, and he just went on a binge of drinking.
The whole team did. They were in fountains in the middle of D.C. with the Stanley Cup.
We were here for it, too.
But there was also a very funny meme that was passed around, because Justify, remember that year, won the Triple Crown. And it was Alex Ovechkin holding a beer-filled Stanley Cup out like this. And it was very obviously Photoshopped. And it had Justify in his stable in, kind of mid-June after winning the Belmont, when the Stanley Cup was already done. And I read it to Carly. I read the meme in a Russian accent. It was Justify, you drink from cup now. Was the caption of the meme, which is very funny.
Excellent.
Anyway, the cunt piece of this, though, for everyone involved, is he scored that goal with 12 minutes and 8 seconds or so, roughly 30 seconds maybe, left in the second period. And all of hockey stopped. They rolled out a carpet. They said, if we're talking about VAR fucking wrecking Mickey Vanderven's hamstrings, these hockey players stopped for no less than 40 fucking minutes in the middle of a period, and they did not give them a chance to warm up again. Fucking get back out there, you fucking
dance, monkey dance.
Yeah, go work hard, motherfucker. And I thought on the league, just save the afters for the afters.
Yeah.
We're all sticking around to watch it. Trust me. It's fine. You didn't have to roll out. Gretzky gave a speech. Ovi gave a speech. And the clock is still up.
In the middle of a game.
The clock is still
What
up
the
on the board.
That is insanity.
We're all still going to watch it. Okay, everybody comes out on the ice, slaps their sticks. Well done. Okay, now we move on.
Right.
We do the presentation afterwards.
No one's leaving.
It's weird. It was weird.
No, if anything, the people that didn't make it to the match are like getting the text going, get your fucking ass
tickets
here.
in there. Yeah, it's weird. What a weird thing in the middle of a game to do that.
Just stop
So
it all.
that's the first cunt thing of the week. Then, and I can't remember off the top of my head the teams. Was it Swindon and...
No, save that for EFL show.
Oh, save that for then.
Save that for EFL
Okay,
show.
you told me to talk about the cunt of the week.
The message I said is save it for the EFL show.
Okay, so we'll save that.
I will tell
then.
you in between. You'll remember who it is immediately because she's already given the so that should tell you what team it is.
Okay, so there are two cunts of the week, and the
Yes.
first one is the NHL itself.
Yes.
For stopping this game for so long. And Ovi, by the way, Ovi's 39.
Yeah.
He did at least 8 more shifts in the game.
Yeah. 39 looks like a hard-ridden fucking 48, doesn't he?
He could have died based on how much time they sat right for this.
Yeah.
The pomp and circumstance. Ovi could have died.
Yeah. Yeah.
You could have killed him.
Yeah, easily.
Very cool, though. On Friday, when he equaled the record, he did it in one less game than Gretzky. So he was already the greatest goal scorer in NHL history.
Very good.
Anyway.
Right.
Didn't matter if he scored another goal because he did it in one less game than Gretzky did.
Excellent.
I fucking love it.
All right, everybody. Next up is DU Does EFL, where we're going to go ahead and recap the rest of English football. Very interesting. We're seeing a lot of teams just fucking off title opportunities.
Oh, yeah. Let's have some fun.
And then after that will be injury time, where we recap our fantasy league. We talk about the beers we were drinking, and we also preview the weekend's action. Should you want to support the show, Mr. Graham, how can you go about doing that?
Very easy. Patreon.com/DU Football Show. Just sign up to that $1 tier. You get all the extra stuff, and sometimes more extra stuff than that. Depends how we feel.
Excellent. Till next week, everybody.
Good night. I had to mention it.